Caps Gaming Showcase Finals in Washington. We're gonna bury here to go on to face who?
Scary hours. IslesGT. It is week 6 of the NA Caps Gaming Showcase, presented to you by Leidos and powered by Leaguegaming. 2 of the 5-0 teams square off here. One will go to 6-0. The other falls to 5-1 as the playoff matchups become fierce, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And as my very good, not friend, but idol Jim Ross would say, quicker than a hiccup. Good evening and welcome. And we are here live, twitch.tv/capitals. My name is Nick DeMeo, aka F5 Penguin, alongside Tegan Blair, aka It's King Lime. And Mr. King, we have ourselves a great matchup here tonight, don't we?
It is going to be a fantastic one as IslesGT taking on Scary Hours. 2 teams 5-0. We're not going to be able to see Olympia, but it's great to see 2 out of the 3 teams battle it out here for possibly reaching into that first place mark.
Yeah, first place mark, not too far away. We'll look at the playoff picture in just a little bit. But yeah, IslesGT, a historic moment here, debuted last week on the Caps Gaming Showcase and went on a tear. Their first series win under their new moniker, obviously formerly Entourage, officially signed for the first time ever in North American NHL esports, a team signed to a team. So a historic moment here as we continue to pave the way of innovation, talent, and broadcast perfection here in North American NHL esports. I, for one, can't be happier, and the gameplay on the ice tonight is gonna be just flames across the board, hands down. These teams know each other extremely well.
Yeah, they're definitely very familiar. New names for both of these teams, so to speak here, Nick, but they definitely know each other more than ever. And let's go into some depth with these teams here, Brandon, as I'm going to bring in bMaJuH, also known as Brendan.
Yes, Tegan, happy to be with you, and man, the Caps Gaming Showcase just never fails to deliver. Some of the matchups that we have seen, we saw Entourage and Composure, we've seen H-Reds and Havu, and yet again, in the featured matchup, 2 giants in NHL esports collide, and the chance to go undefeated and continue being undefeated. We'll see if Olympia can continue their side of their 5-0 run. But nevertheless, what better than Scary Hours and IslesGT facing off against one another? A lot of names, a lot of talent. Blur, Joey, Sidful, K-Cut, Hendry, Claus, Fisher, Regs. I mean, the list goes on and on for both of these 2 sides. And you never know who is going to win when these 2 get to collide.
Yeah, it is going to be a close one as you've got first and third there in the records and standings. Why don't you walk us through what you see here, Brandon?
Yeah, first and third in the record and standings. And interestingly enough, these 2 teams, strength against strength in this game. The second highest scoring team in the league in IslesGT going up against the best defensive team in the league in Scary Hours, the least goals allowed so far in the tournament out of any team, and by a pretty solid 5-goal margin. So these are 2 sides that are going to be tested here on what they've done well so far. We know how good IslesGT is at scoring, is at those quick opportunities and being able to be fast and get themselves those chances on a rush and being able to capitalize. While Scary Hours really good at being able to slow their opponent down, adjusting to what their opponent does, and being able to take away what they do best. So it's going to be fun to see who is able to adapt and adjust as this game goes on. And I expect a good series here from these 2 sides.
It is going to be a great series, and we also have a great interview as we were able to catch up with Hendry, and we're going to take a look at that now. Sorry about that, guys, as we just had a little bit of technical difficulties, and we'll get back to that recap with Hendry. But let's kind of go over as we have a league leader in the matchup here, as we have Regs leading the way with apples so far here in the tournament.
Yeah, and it's not often that you will see a defenseman lead that category. Interestingly enough, Regs has more assists than anyone on Scary Hours has points, and that is not to slight Scary Hours. They played 5 less games than this Isles GT squad has, but just goes to show you how important Regs is to this team. He really gets things open for his forwards on the breakout and is able to help them push forward. Without him, they definitely wouldn't be the second highest scoring team in the league. Look for him to really make an impact and kind of play that quarterback role to help his forwards and Hendry, Claus, and Fisher get up and get themselves some opportunities in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and he'll be getting that puck up to, obviously, Hendry, who now we were able to sit down and have a chat with here, Brendan.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This is a good one. I am here with someone I've known for a long time in the Sixes esports space. You probably know him as well. He is not only a three-time LGESHL champion, he's a Northern Arena champion, he's a Caps Gaming champion, and now he is the starting left winger for IslesGT. I am talking to Lucas Hendry. Hendry, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a long time, I know. So many things have happened, but obviously, thank you for being here today because we have some big news apparently that's happened in the last 2 weeks if people have missed it, right?
Yeah, no worries. Of course.
So I have to start by asking, we all know the news now. IslesGT, the Isles Gaming team, your Sixes club, has become part of this big historic moment for North American hockey esports, where now that club is underneath the Isles brand, now IslesGT. I have to ask you, I know it's been a long time coming, how are you feeling after spending all of these years with one club for now to be under a big NHL brand?
And yeah, Nick, it feels pretty awesome. Like having an opportunity like this to represent like the New York Islanders and the esports scene is something like we as a team never could have imagined when we first started playing competitively. And it's cool to look back at, all the time and effort we put in as a team together, and for it to be recognized on a scale like this, it's just super cool. And this signing is like the start of an exciting future in the NHL community, and we're super excited to see the continued growth of it all and how far we've come so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about where you've come and where you're here now. Did you ever think that this could happen specifically for you guys, but for esports in general in North America, or is it kind of like a dream come true for you?
I mean, it was always kind of like a pipe dream almost. It was something that we always talked about like a few years back. We're like, oh, this would be so cool if like these NHL teams got involved and, like started picking up teams and whatnot. And so for it to really come to fruition, it's super cool. And honestly, I didn't think it would happen, but it is. And I think it's super cool that we're a part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that, you guys play hundreds of games a week at this point, practicing, getting really good at that's why you're one of the winningest teams in NA esports. But the Isles GT, they debuted last week during the Caps Gaming Showcase here. Was it special for you? Was it a little bit different knowing that now it's a slightly different name, or was it business as usual on the ice for you?
I mean, it's always business as usual, but it was definitely a special moment playing our first game since being signed. And for it to be in like the Caps Gaming Showcase, obviously, which is where we really like started our dominance with the roster that we currently have with the Isles back in 2020 when we won the LAN in DC. I think that makes the moment even cooler. The fact that, it's in the event where we kind of started this whole thing.
Kind of where you picked up your roots. So then it's got to really feel good coming out with a win for your first series as well, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's nice to get that first win as IslesGT under our belts, and to get the ball rolling on what's hopefully going to be a successful future as a team.
Well, we talk about the future. I mean, so far, I don't know if you know this, but I do. We're the stats junkies over here. You're 9th in the showcase with 29 points through 5 weeks. The competition's a little bit different, obviously, with this format we have, and the teams are getting a little bit better. What's been the biggest contribution to your success this season? Because this is you always score a lot of points, but right now you're in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes back to my teammates that I'm surrounded by. They're kind of the key factors to my success. Yeah, I do what I do, but it's nothing without the teammates, and being able to play with like these guys, that I play with every day, day in and day out, that I have the utmost confidence in. It really helps me to play like the game to the best of my ability and contribute to the whole overall team success. It's just, the guys around me just make me as good as I am.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not a one-player sport. You talk about teammates. I guess I got to talk about this. This year's game, really a focus on goaltending. We've seen it already through 5 weeks here. They're the ones that stand out kind of in the pivotal moments. So we all know Shekel, but how important is it for you to have Shekel behind you guys, not only for this event, but for IslesGT as a whole?
I think it's more important than anyone ever talks about when it comes to us as a team. I mean, having Shaq back there to hold it down for us in the D-zone is great. We can really count on him, to make the key save we need in big games, change the momentum of a game, swing it in our favor. And we all have that confidence as a team in Shaq, and it allows us to play our game up front and not worry about anything but what we're doing as skaters and what we're doing at our positions, because we have the confidence in him in the D-zone to, pick us up when we need it.
Absolutely. It makes sense. So let's talk about the matchup coming up here. This is week 6, getting a little bit closer to playoffs. We have a lot of teams in NA. You're up against Scary Hours. I mean, we could talk about this all day. I know you know all of those players, probably more than most of the teams in NA esports. I know you have a long history with some of them. What's the one thing you're kind of watching of what they're doing right now that's led to their success?
So yeah, like you said, Scary Hours is a great team. I mean, they're 5-0 for a reason. They're filled with talent up and down the roster. And as you said, like, I've had the pleasure of teaming up with some of these guys throughout my time. So I know the abilities that they have as a team. And I think one thing we're looking forward to game plan is to try to get on them early, like, get out to an early lead, get that first goal, and kind of throw them off their game and make them play into our style. Because especially in NHL 22 this year, it's really about, I think that first goal is just so important. And so if we get on them early and, make them play into what we want to do, then I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, for sure. Both teams obviously 5-0. I know it's important to get that first series win under IslesGT. I know it's really important for you guys to remain undefeated. It's kind of something that you really don't take lightly. You guys are focused always on trying to be perfect as you can be on the ice.
Yeah.
So to remain undefeated, to get to 6-0, what's the key for you guys here in this matchup?
I think it's as simple as just, playing our game with confidence. We know that when we get on the ice, we can beat anyone we face off against. And so as long as we do that, we should come out with a dub and stay undefeated. So, I mean, it's all about just playing our game, playing with confidence, doing what we know we can do, and not playing down to any other team's level.
Hendry, I've known you for a long time, man. I was so happy for you when I saw this announcement. So, from the bottom of my heart, from the whole team here, we wish you guys nothing but the utmost success, not only on this ice for the matchup, but for everything you're going to do for IslesGT. You guys deserve it, and I wish you nothing but the best, man.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're super happy about it, so that means a lot.
Thanks, Hendry.
Yep.
Awesome stuff with a great interview from F5, Penguin, and Hendry. And well, take a look at these top standings here, Brandon.
Yeah, and as you can see, number 1 and number 3, our matchup in Scary Hours and IslesGT, 2 to 3 teams that are top of the class, so to speak, with Olympia being that number 2 team right there at 5-0 as well. And you see a few other familiar names like Instinct, the finalist last year, Composure, who this IslesGT team got to play just a few weeks ago, No Mercy, who Scary Hours has played. So a team that has been battle-tested on both of these two sides. They finally get to match up. Only one will remain undefeated after tonight. Can't wait to soak this in with you guys and watch 2 of the best in NHL esports face off, Nick and Tegan.
Great stuff as always, guys, and always a pleasure to talk to Hendry for sure. I mean, that's a man that I've known for a long time, so it's exciting to see what they're doing for IslesGT and, of course, all their coverage that they do on their Twitch channel at the Islanders _. So that's that. This is the Caps Gaming Showcase presented to you by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. This is week number 6. Scary Hours in those white jerseys with the Miami Vice style vibes going south on your screen. The Isles, of course, in the Islanders jerseys, Tegan. So this should be a fun one.
Yeah, and looking very good in those Islander jerseys. A nice change from the Entourage ones.
Face off there at the neutral zone as that went offside by Sitful. Here we go. Play is underway. That's behind the net and a leveled left D there. And you don't like to see that too often, but play continues. Blur with a shot there. Sitful from the corner. Working in front, Scary Joey shoots and scores. Coming off the back of the boards there in front. He rips that one home, and it's 1-0.
That's a great cut play there by Scary Hours on the left-hand side. Just a great cut by Scary Joey as he gets himself just enough past Shekel, and he's able to drive that one in. It's 1-0 Scary Hours.
So 1-0. Regs now off the face-off. That one came quick, fast, and in a hurry as well. So a little bit of a foreshadowing allusion to what I was saying in the pregame unintentionally. But here we are. Play continues on. George got it. Bring it over to Claus. Claus over the blue line, getting his legs underneath him here as they're reeling from that first shot, first goal. K-Cut stealing that one. George accosted again. Greg's going to give chase to the corner. He's out with it. Up now, Fisher. Fisher dangling across a guy, too. Shot there, saved off the mask, I think, of Bar Down Beauty, as Risto's got this one. He'll collect it and move it along. Banked out, tried to find his left winger there in blur. Couldn't connect it, and it goes icing. 13:50 here in the first.
And just like you said, I think the Isles just looking to get their feet underneath them. That was a pretty quick start and get back to making them play their game, like you heard Henry say.
D-to-D, Reg shot in, can't get through over to the goalie. That might have hit a player as well. I heard that mask sound again as they try to force that one in to give chase past the defense. Regs will pick it up and slow things down up the right side. Fisher, he'll lose it coming into the zone, and that's K-Cut now. K-Cut 4 goals, 10 assists so far through 6 weeks of play. Regs now. He'll lose a good steal by Blur. Unlike Regs giving that one up. Good block by George, keeping that one outside. Sidful off the iron, trying that low angle shot. That flutters up into the high slot area. Now Scary Joey. His team name also matches his username. Blur now from the corner. K-Cut, left point. Left circle, he's finding a lane. Got one in. That's going to be off of Regs' leg. That slap shot in the round. Tried that Omaha over to Fisher. It'll connect anyway. Fisher. As he tried to scoop that one along, that's going to come all the way back down the ice for George. Shekel won't go after that one. We've seen Vanks in net. We've seen Shekel in net. Shekel tonight gets the start, and we've also seen the same with George and Dowdy, but it's George manning the left D for tonight's matchup against Scary Hours.
Yeah, and pretty good stuff here out of Shekel so far. Other than the first one beating him, we'll see if he can continue putting on great saves here tonight for the IslesGT.
Gave up that first one, but things have appeared to kind of settled down for both clubs here, at least for right now, as that's a backhanded flip into the left corner. Going after it is Claus. Claus has that and is joined with Hendry as Regs will scoop it up at the half-board's right side. Fisher, good angle shot there from George. That came in. Good save by Bar Down Beauty. Blur up Sitful as he'll carry that one and collect it along. That's going to be let out for Risto. He's going to come in deep on this play. Risto down and around. That's K-Cut driving through the lower end of that ice area. And another slap shot by George. Can't get it out of the zone, though, as that slap shot hit actually in J-Claws. And now Scary Hours on the attack offensively is the one-time chance. Almost fell to Scary Joey's stick. Is a good kick save there. Now Scary Joey going to work here, trying to feed that one and force it through. 3:30 to go here in the first period. Finally out now by the Isles. They move it along. Now it's in the left corner. Scary Joey just fighting off check after check right now as Blur's got this. Now Risto, right side with speed. Trying to center that one in, can't connect. Two men down in the corner. Who's coming out with it? That's going to be Fisher. Fisher with under 100 seconds to go here in the first period. Back on the give and go from George. Blur's got that now from the steal, so Sitful will take it along. Sitful trying to find his left winger, can't do it, so with 1:02 left in the first period, we'll have an icing in the offensive zone for the Isles.
Little back and forth hockey here. Isles able to get something going, fortunately, in the offensive zone. We'll see if they can build some momentum off this draw.
Face off to the left of Bar Down. No win there by the Isles. That'll be Scary Hours picking up that face-off win in the defensive end, but the forecheck on now for the Isles. 3 men in the corner. Who's coming out with it? A lot of poke checks. That's going to be Blur, though. Scary Hours able to clear that one out. 5 seconds left here. Slap shot along the ice. And no icing there, so a quick flurry early gives Scary Hours a 1-0 lead.
Great goal there by Scary Joey to get Scary Hours on the board, Brandon. It was a good showing there in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, you can't really draw it up much better than they perform there if you are Scary Hours, getting that quick first goal against a team like IslesGT, and so important. We know how good this Scary Hours team is defensively. We mentioned earlier, #1 in the league in goals allowed, only allowing 11 goals in the 8 games they've played. But something that kind of goes underrated with this team, with how good that defense is how much scoring prowess that they really do have with Blur, Joey, and Sitful there at that forward group. I know that 31 goals for it can seem a little bit low when you put it up against what the Isles have done with 49, but if you crunch the numbers, remember, IslesGT has played 5 more games than Scary Hours has, so if you do it by about a goals per game basis, Scary Hours is right around where IslesGT is on that mark. So not surprising to see them come out front. Going to be interesting to see how IslesGT adjusts to try to get this thing back into level terms.
As we saw there in the middle intermission analysis, Regs with 2 minutes 10 seconds puck possession time so far. We'll see how he quarterbacks his team back into a tied position. He's got it now. Second period underway here. Game number 1 of a best of 3. Caps Gaming Showcase presented to you by Leidos, powered by Leaguegaming. Those dynamic stats at the top right of your screen and that ticker at the top, all thanks to the dynamic stat system from Leaguegaming that we appreciate, as we might have a stoppage here. So we'll come back to the studio. It's going to be myself, and it's Tegan Blair. Tegan, quick early here, might have a quick reconnect situation going on. Nevertheless, here we'll get more word from the teams in just a moment, but we start the second period there with the Isles down by 1.
Yeah, the Isles are going to start down by 1, and it did look like maybe a little bit of struggling with the connection there, which brought us back here. But, other than that quick goal by Scary Joey for Scary Hours, the Isles have really been able to shut it down pretty well.
They have been, for sure, and I think a lot of it attested to that neutral zone play from Arctic Blur and from Sitful. They've just been all over the ice so far. Poke checks and outstretched sticks kind of get you to where you are, and that does turn the tide, especially for a team that likes to play fast. You've seen, 3 Omaha or quick out attacks from George, all hitting either a player of his own team or the opposition, so they can't connect to that fissure, speeding up the right side of the ice.
Yeah, as Isles obviously known for that, using their speed and utilizing that up the wings, and the defense moving the puck out quickly. So we'll watch to see if they do that more. I'm sure they will.
Absolutely. As we'll take a look at the playoff picture one more time, we'll bring in our amazingly second-to-none analyst here in Brandon as we look at this playoff picture. And what does this kind of tell you? The top 10, I know all these guys are going to get in. These teams are exceptional, but what really stands out to you as a team that has kind of surprised you making their way into the top 10?
I think for me personally, one team that really stands out to me for different reasons, nevertheless, would be Hit List at number 10. They actually started their season out, unfortunately, with a forfeit loss. They started 0-1 and have rattled off 4 straight wins since that point. So to get that start and to climb their way up into that 10th spot, to be in this position, really says a lot to me on how they have played the last month. Been one of the hotter teams, nevertheless, and interestingly enough, the team that they unfortunately had to forfeit against, Scary Hours. So kind of interesting to see both of those teams up there. An honorable mention as well, Prodigy at that 8th spot. They dropped week 1 as well against Gabagoon. So it just shows how good these teams are, the resolve that these teams have to kind of face that early adversity, to be down in the standings early, but still continuing those winning ways, finding ways to get higher in the standings and beat teams continuously and consistently. So those are kind of the two that I see that I look for, and it's like, that's really good to see them up there considering how their season started out.
Yeah, they did have a little bit of a shaky start in week 1, but it is very impressive, like Brandon said, to see those teams up there. Is there anybody that you could see moving to the left side of the board there, Brandon, from the right side of the board that maybe should be over there?
One team that's really impressed me would probably be No Expectations. They've really been a little bit underrated this season. Not many teams have talked about them, or maybe even would even see them in this top 10 as good as they are. But for them to be in that 6th spot and to be where they are, interestingly enough, they play Mars, who was in that 9th spot. We saw one of the final scores go up on our top right a little bit earlier there. But seeing them, if they can beat Mars here in this series tonight, I would not be surprised if they get into that top 5 5 and maybe stay there a while. I think that they've been a little bit of a sleeper team so far this season, so it's good to see them up there, and I wouldn't be shocked if they're a team that maybe come around 3 or 4, we're still calling their names and maybe saying that they have a chance to win the whole thing potentially.
Well, that is great stuff there, Brandon. And I would have to agree with you. No Expectations was actually my choice in that as well. But we have a fantastic game in Isles against Scary Hours that we have to pay attention to a little bit more. And one of them has been quite successful in the power play.
Yeah, major success for IslesGT on the power play at 40.9%. And Tegan, it's funny, we were kind of talking about earlier before the show, like, man, you figured that has to be first, right? Just the 7th highest mark, but for them to have that great of a power play and being able to take advantage on those chances, it really says a lot about how Scary Hours is going to have to stay disciplined and keep themselves out of the box. Luckily, a team with this much skill and this much IQ able to do that, and they've done well at that here in the first period. We'll see if they can continue that on here in the next 2 periods, as well as game 2 and potentially game 3.
Yeah, and leading on to that, not only their power play has been great, their penalty kill has been to match most teams up in that 87% mark there, Brandon.
Yeah, IslesGT with that solid mark there with the 86.4%, Scary Hours at 87.5, and I think for Scary Hours it just kind of goes and alludes to how well they are as a defensive team. They're really able to do a good job of taking away what you want to do and just being able to control the game there. They say that defense wins championships, and for Scary Hours, they are playing championship caliber defense so far. So really good job by them so far against a team like IslesGT that loves to play that unique kind of fast-paced off-the-rush style. Going to be interesting to see if they can keep that up here in the next few periods.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of the centuries. This is a best of 3, isn't it, Brandon? So we do have a possibility of 3 games, and one of these teams have gone to all 3. We're going to find out if that's going to connect tonight.
Yeah, IslesGT, they've gone to all 3 games in 4 out of the 5 series that they've played, and the only one that they haven't was week 1 versus Veterans, so they are plenty used to having to go the distance, while Scary Hours, not so much. They've been dominating teams on a consistent basis all season. Don't be surprised if this one goes all 3 games with talent that both of these 2 sides have and how well they're able to adjust on the fly and kind of adapt to each other. So it's going to be fun to watch. Can't wait to see how this series matches up in the next 2 periods here as well.
Yeah, as we are going to be starting at the top of period number 2 with the score of 1-0 Scary Hours, as that puck did go over the glass just around that time. And it is going to be one of these teams is going to lose the series tonight here.
Yeah, one of these teams indeed, guys. And like you said, starting at the top of period number 2. So it's 1-0 for Scary Hours through period number 1. This is period number 2. Don't let the names on the screen, or the numbers rather, fool you. This is going to be period number 2. So the IslesGT going north on your screen. Risto wins that one off the faceoff sent in by Scary Hours, as it's Scary Hours going south on your screen in those white jerseys, pink and blue trim, as Scary Joey picks that one up and looks to get that across his zone and out. He will slow it down to K-Cut. K-Cut will send it along to Sidful. Sidful now from the left corner, looking for a lane in. He's found one. Regs with a good pickoff, though. That one's intercepted. Like we said, period number 2 underway here in game number 1. Caps Gaming Showcase, week number 6. Presented to you by Leidos. Arctic Blur meets a very impressive Jay Claus there. Wraparound attempt does not happen. That one's left up top now. Scary Joey playing some defense now. Blur changing positions. Now Sidful trying to find a pass. He can't get there. George will take it away. Now it's moved up for Fisher. Fisher up the right side. From the corner now. And K-Cut will come out of that scrum all the way down the ice. It will be an icing warning and finally touched up for the whistle.
Yeah, and I'd say that the stoppage benefits the Isles here, as they are looking pretty sharp as they're going to try one of their offensive zone faceoffs here.
It definitely resets the momentum that might play into their favor. Faceoff one there, another clean win. K-Cut scoops it up off that draw. K-Cut's won 3 of those now off those faceoff wins. Is a wraparound chance. goes in anyway. It looked like Shekel had a piece of it, but it doesn't matter as it squirted in, and it's 2-0 for Scary Hours.
Yeah, it's going to be Scary Joey second to the game. It looked like Sitful might have, it looks like Shekel might have poked that in with his glove there, Nick. I think you're right.
As the chat lights up, love to see it. Twitch.tv/Capitals left there at the blue line. Isles will go back on the attack, but that sustained pressure, just not able to get that off right now. And that's what we talked about in the pregame. They're able to strike quick and early, but their time and attack differential right now, 37th in the league.
Yeah, exactly. It's they like to make plays off of the rush, right? And it obviously works. So if it's not broke, why fix it?
Fisher giving chase to 3 players there. Scary Joey will wrap that around. Up on the right side, as those score lines will come in. And you'll see those pop up on your screen. Arctic Blur over to Joey once more. K-Cut spinning, finding one in the middle. Oh, and a chance there for Scary Joey to get a natural Hattie. Couldn't come up with it. Couldn't get that shot off. Sitful around the net, around the boards. Finding a way to the center point. Shot in there. Whistles just past the glove of Shekel. That's going to be a spin move by K-Cut as he looked for a way to get that back over to his centerman. Could not connect. That was a good opportunity and great defensive play there as a slap shot comes in. And that's bar down beauty going to work there as that one's fought along the blue line. Claws now. Risto will pick it up in center. This is your featured matchup, best of 3 here. We're in game number 1, period number 2. Wrapped around the boards. Who's going to be there? George was supposed to be there, but I don't know how he found that as he was all the way up in the center, right, or the middle of the slot area there almost. And that one came out back to center. This is game number 1. K-Cut. Bounced off of a player. Scary Joey recovers in near his blue line. That's going to be Arctic Blur with a shot in. Not a lot on it. Shekel had trouble finding it, but he finally does and hangs on for the draw.
Yeah, a little bit of a weak shot there from Arctic Blur, but they don't mind that. It is 2-0. We want to remind everybody in the second period with 4:39 to go.
Face off there, 1. That one's sent out of the zone. Arctic Blur shot in. Does make it on net. That one had a little bit more on it. As Regs will scoop it up for his team. Flipped in. Risto giving chase with it is Fisher. That one bounces off of the, I don't know if that was the pad or the stick there of Bar Down Beauty, but now the Isles have it in their zone. Looking to get one on net here before the period is done. Blur, right side. Trying to send that one around the net. That one stopped by Regs. Instead, the Isles will lose possession of that puck as soon as they had it off the poke check. Now they've got it again. Regs will feed that one up to the left side. Now Claws. Claws just checked and hit and bumped and stick checked, and Sitful took that one away from a good lead pass up for K-Cut in front. Scary Joey rings off the iron. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. That's going to do it for the second period. It is 2-0 for Scary Hours, and IslesGT reeling right now, but they've got to really get it together here in the third period.
Yeah, or else Scary Joey is going to be looking for that natural hat-trick, Brandon. He's had a couple chances. He put one off the bar. If he keeps up in this third period, the Isles are really going to have to work for it.
Yeah, Scary Hours creating scary times here for the IslesGT squad. As something we talked about coming into this game, how good Scary Hours is at being able to take away what teams like to do on the offensive end. We talked about how IslesGT loves to get those quick hitters, those quick rush past you, fast break kind of plays. And those just have not been there so far for IslesGT, especially in that forward group. I think if you're them, they're going to have to find a way to adjust and find something to break this thing open, because right now, Scary Hours having the answers for what IslesGT is looking to do, expecting to maybe throw a few shots on net and get a few different looks to maybe test the goalie and bar down beauty.
Period number 3, it's 2-0 is your scoreline. No 60-second real time to conclude this period, so the Isles have to go to work early here and score often. They've got 2 to make up on your scoreline. Fisher now with it, trying to find that lead pass, and Somehow, Hendry's stuck behind the net, or behind the goalie, rather. He's back on the ice, though. He's good to go. As he tried to pick that one up. Kick saved there by Shekel and touched up. Regs draws the penalty, and the Isles go on the power play for the first time tonight.
This could be what they need. Blur in the blocks here. This is a, capitalizing chance here for the Isles.
Face off there, one push win. Nice by Hendry. Leave that back for Regs. Regs, oh, I thought he was going to keep that in the zone. Unfortunately, it's going to come back out to center. He'll lay it off for Fisher. Fisher back up top now, Regs. Regs driving in. Center point, Hendry back to Regs center point. Slap shot coming in. Good kick saved by Bardown Beauty. That one's going to bounce off of Jay Claus. Still kept in the zone now. Claus goes to recover it. Trying to wrap around chance, stops up short. Center point now, Hendry again. Wrist shot coming in. Beauty hangs on. Able to see it the entire way, but the boys are cycling right now in those blue jerseys.
Yeah, they're doing a great job here on the power play. They got 50 seconds left here to pour this on here, Nick, and if they do, they might get one.
Risto off the face-off. That's going to bounce and go all the way down the length of the ice. Not what you wanted right now on this power play if you are the Isles Gaming team right now. Claus with it. Fisher dangles one. Tried that one-time feed over to George. Couldn't connect. That one slap shotted out of the zone. And we're back to 5-on-5, 6v6 hockey. Shekel's got that. He'll throw it out. Of course, nobody on him right there to do so. Safe and sound. And that's an Owl City song, I do believe. That one's picked up from the corner. Wrap around chance. That was kind of tucked in short side, rather, as Bar down. He's going to find it, track it, and hang on for the whistle.
Yeah, so a little bit of momentum there that probably builds for the Isles Gaming team to try and get something going here. And what is the third period? We want to remind you, it's 2-0 here for Scary Hours.
2-0, 14 minutes left in the game here. Game number 1 of a best of 3. Claus over to Fisher. Good little pass. Now finds Regs. Regs from the outside trying to find his way into the middle areas. Get that shot on net. That one's intended up for Hendry. Claus will pick it off. Now they're trying to keep this in the offensive end for their team. That's going to be a short side chance. Good effort. Shot there saved somehow by Bar down, as that's a leveling opportunity. As I don't know who that was on the ice. I think that was Scary Joey taking that fall. As Risto tries to recover his team back together. They do so here. Approaching the middle marker of period number 3. You'll see on your screen it's 1-0, but there was a dropout in the game. So 2-0 in period 3. Claus trying to get one shot in home. Can't find a way to the goalie or past the goalie right now, as Risto's going to fight off a check there at the blue line. All the way
Great
back
interception. I was just going to say it's a great interception in the middle by Jay Claus to cause things up in the middle of the ice, but here goes Scary Hours.
Blur from the right side. Up top now, Risto. Risto's going to be met with a check there by Fisher. Fisher will move it along. 8 minutes left here in the third period. That's a good shot. Coming in, rebound chance, backhanded. Good save by Bar down. Claus with an option. That's to Fisher, and he scores off the 1T. That makes it 2-1 here. And oh man, that's some life out of Isles right now.
That's exactly what they needed. They got a little bit of momentum and they hit Fisher in the high slot. And Fisher's known for that. He picks that bar down. He's got the 1T X factor, connects with it, and it's a 2-1 game here as the Isles have came halfway back.
Tegan, that was a rocket in from the high slot left circle area by Fisher off that pass from Claus.
Yeah, he definitely let it go. He's got that perk on, and, it definitely works if he got it in at the right time at the right place. We'll see if they can come back and build on it.
No, it says 1-1 on your screen, but it's 2-1 for Scary Hours right now. Game number 1, period number 3. Don't let these numbers below fool you. Just listen to our sultry sounds and our, as someone once put it many years ago, ravishing pipes. We got you covered. 2-1, period number 3. Scary Hours in the lead. 5 minutes to go here in the third period. Jay Claus. Up to Hendry, looking for that 2-on-2 breakthrough into the zone. Couldn't find it. That's a good seal by Fisher, though. Fisher just feeling it right now as a result of that goal that brought this to a 1-goal deficit for his club. Scary Hours, cross-ice pass. That's flipped in, cross-ice back the other way. Oh, picked up nicely, though, by George. That one just kind of bounced and couldn't find the stick of one of the Scary Hours players. Regs has it in the zone. Not for long. That's lost, and it comes back out to center. Sidful picks it up on the fly. That one's shot in. Rebound chance there. George able to stay with Blur the entire way. Smart move there by George to keep that puck away from the stick of Arctic Blur. That's fought from the corner now, though, as this real-time minute will not be. It's It's going to move fast, so the Isles got to go quickly here. Under a minute now in the game. And Claus is in the zone. Stops short. Center point now left side. Shot in. Rebound chance at the doorstep, and they couldn't pull the trigger. Hendry still got it now. They pull the extra attacker. 5 seconds here into Regs. In front, chance. Couldn't get it happening, and that's going to do it. So at the end of this game, Scary Hours hangs on and takes this game 2-1 rather.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward way to get there, but we finally did it. Is a couple of good goals by Scary Joey walked them away with the win there, Brandon.
Yeah, and you have to credit the defense of Scary Hours. Just until the last maybe 8 minutes or so, IslesGT just not able to really get enough going for themselves consistently there. They had that flurry, but luckily for Scary Hours, a few nice saves from Bar Down Beauty, able to get it out, not giving them the high quality of looks that you ideally would want if you're IslesGT. A great team effort there from Scary Hours to give themselves a 2-1 win in a 1-0 series. Now we see how IslesGT adjust if they can continue to build on the last 7 to 8 minutes of that game, because I think they started to kind of get something going as they started to establish the offensive zone a little bit.
Yeah, they were starting to move the puck around and find those lanes. That goal by Fisher was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, an absolutely phenomenal play there, and just getting that one-time play open, right? I mean, we saw some guys in the chat talking about it, just absolute missiles there when you were able to get that one-time open, especially when you have some of the scorers that we do in this game, like Fisher, like Hendry, like Sitful, and Scary Joey. So you know they have the ability, and it's why it's so important not to give the time and the space to be able to convert on that play. IslesGT able to do it that one time, but aside from that, just not a lot of opportunities there for him. A great job from Scary Hours, knowing what IslesGT was going to do, what they were looking to do, able to execute their game plan, and keeping this to a 2-1 win to take this one into a series lead for themselves going into game 2.
Yeah, I think with the game's reset there, Brandon, things changed. And like you heard Henry in the interview, he said, we need to play our game. And they definitely weren't playing their game in the beginning, were they?
Yeah, just not really able to establish that. And you kind of could see it told in the time on attack difference numbers and how much time on attack Scary Hours had compared to IslesGT, who was negative in that time on attack difference. And it's not because IslesGT doesn't necessarily get zone opportunity. They only have 2 seconds separating each other in average time on attack, but Scary Hours just able to keep the opponent out of the zone, able to lock that neutral zone down so well, and not able to really let teams get comfortable on the breakout. While with IslesGT, they're completely fine with letting you kind of wing it around and passing it around the boards and cycling it, as long as you are creating high quality space and getting yourselves opportunities. So a difference in game there and a difference in play style. Unfortunately for IslesGT, that game just kind of played more to the play style of Scary Hours, and they just kind of made the Isles fall into that. That's just not the way they play. We'll see if they can establish that more in game 2. I think getting the first goal is a big key here for this game to kind of get that tone set to go.
And that's what you saw in our first game, was the very early goal by Scary Hours, which was very successful for them. So, Brandon, I would agree with you that that first goal is everything. And you're right about the Isles gaming team. They love to move that puck around the outside, and then they attack you with speed. They wait for you to make a mistake, and they're out of the zone just like that.
Yeah, and especially with the two wingers for IslesGT and Hendry and Fisher, they play those small, speedy builds, and it's really hard when you go from setting things up in the offensive zone and being really attack-minded, trying to get a score, and then all of a sudden it just takes one poke check from Regs or one poke check from J-Cause, and next thing you know, the guys in blue are on the other end. You have a 3-on-2 with Hendry flying down the right side and Fisher is flying down the other. And they can just score just like that because they're able to capitalize on those chances. Scary Hours, great with the puck, being careful, keeping the possession to themselves and not giving the Isles those opportunities to be able to capitalize on those quick hitting plays. And then you add on the fact that they were so good defensively in the neutral zone, making it hard for them to set up as well. So Scary Hours just imposing their play style and their game, a play style that the Islanders just not necessarily used to playing. They're no one-trick pony, but it's hard to just adjust on the fly like that when you're used to playing in such an opposite way.
Yeah, and then you're getting a bit of speed from Scary Hours as well. You have Blur, who likes to use his speed down the side. And both of these forwards are very good at getting in those lanes in the offensive zone. You saw Fisher get into that one-timer lane, and he sure ripped that one, didn't he?
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the chemistry, not just for Scary Hours, but for IslesGT too. You have to remember, with these two sides, formerly Vertigo for Scary Hours, and obviously formerly Entourage for IslesGT. So these are two forward groups that have played together for about a year plus now. When you have chemistry like that, it's so cohesive. There's a lot of just togetherness, and they gel so well because you know where everyone's going to be. You know, okay, center is going to be on this one. I need to fill in that lane and get him some time or some space to be able to take the shot, or get myself open for a pass to where if they try to collapse on him, I can give myself that option where he can pass it back or to the side for that one-timer. So a lot of it, not just the skill and the IQ of these players, but the chemistry of how they know to play together and the cohesiveness that they have to play as a unit of 5.
Yeah, and we'll get to see this unit of 5 go head-to-head, or unit of 6, depends if you ask Nick, as to each their own, right, Brando? Great stuff on your end, my friend. We've got Scary Hours going against the New York Isles gaming team, and they are getting themselves together and ready to go, Brandon. If you had to pick a player from either side, who would you have to say?
I think for the one side, I think somebody that didn't really get their due there in that first game. We obviously talked about how good defensively Scary Hours is, but Risto, who came in, didn't play a game before today, really did a good job there on that left side, filling in for Augie, who's not playing tonight. A really skilled player, has been around, did a good job there on that left side. Expect him to make his presence known, not just defensively, but on the breakout. And on the defensive end for IslesGT, look for Rex. Didn't really hear his name called a lot. Leads the league in assists. You know he's kind of the quarterback of this team offensively. Both of these guys going to make their presence and their names heard by you and Nick here, Teague, and can't wait for game 2.
So game number 2 underway here. Nick DeMeo, F5 Penguin, Tegan Blair, it's King Lyman, Brandon Bigsby, bMaJuH alongside with you. Scary Hours takes game number 1. The Isles now in their away jerseys. Scary Hours in these very Kraken-esque looking jerseys, which I just love the deep blue and the purple as a slap shot comes in from the left circle there. Hendry just firing a laser, and we'll get a stoppage already early on in the first period.
Yeah, these jerseys on both sides looking about as good as that slap shot from Hendry. Let's see if they can build off it on this face-off.
Absolutely. Face-off to the right of Bar Down Beauty, recovered by Cutler off the face-off draw. Sidful now. That's a shot coming in just over the glove of Shekel. That's going to be behind the net. Fought from it. Sidful's got it. Still in the zone now. One-time chance. What a great play by Scary Joey, darting in front to that basically dead man zone area and pulls the trigger with a backhand. It's 1-0.
And Brandon said it here, you know, he said that early goal is going to be everything, and it's going to be Scary Joey who gets it for his home team once again.
He's got 3 on the night so far through 2 games, and we even talked about that with Hendry. He said the first goal really does matter in NHL 22, so we'll see what the IslesGT can do here. Down by 1 once more early on in the first period. Fisher spinning around, high slot area, right side there, rebound chance. George in down low, tried to get that one back up top and couldn't find it. Good poke check there by George. Scratched that 2 goals for Scary Joey, and that was Sidful on the second goal in game number 1. As my statistician corrects me on, I get excited sometimes. We're all not perfect. As play continues on, Regs now Fisher, right side. As we go offside, 12:43 here in the first period, and this will come back out to center.
You know, Nick, he does it to me too, I swear. Our statistician, man, he's always right. It's but here we go.
Brandon's been one of the most professional people to work with. I love making sure I'm getting my stuff right while I'm calling things. He helps out in immaculate ways of which cannot be described in a telecast, but you can always message me and I'll give you the full rundown of how much of an asset he is to any single production he runs. But that's to be said for another time. Here we are halfway through the first period of game number 2 as these scorelines come in. No expectations falling to Mars in OT. 1-0 over the Tropics was momentum. Fought from the corner here right now, the Isles and Scary Hours. Sidfel's trying to get this out of the zone. He can't do so. Hendry's going to scoop it up. No, he loses it. Half boards there. He's got it now behind the net. Going after it is Fisher. He's going to scoop that one up, but K-Cut's going to pick it off and intercept that. That's flipped out. 2-on-0 chance. Sidfel, breakaway, diving, poke check by Shekel. Keeps this thing 1-0.
Yeah, great job by Shekel to have 200 IQ as a goaltender, to notice that Sidfel is skating full speed there. He's not going to have a chance. Dives out, makes a great play. That's the most winning goalie in all of esports, making it known.
Sidfel throws this one in down low, giving chase. The Reg's going to come out with it instead. And now that's going to be left along for Risto to pick up from the corner. Reg's going to keep it in the zone, though. That's going to bounce off of a player, not make its way to the net. Risto's going to fight from the corner. Claus is going to recover that one. Out now, Reg's right side. Wrist shot coming in. That had a lot of lift on it. The elevation was ready for takeoff, and Bar Down Beauty's able to glove that one down.
That was a nice shot, you know. He didn't take the time to get blocked, and I think that's one thing that the Isles Gaming team does so well, is they make sure they get the pucks through.
Face off now, won by Fisher, trying to get that one in on the far side of Bar Down. Couldn't close the door. Slap shot there. Might have been kick saved by Bar Down. Play continues. That one's going to be thrown in, bounced off of a stick. That's plunged along now. Fisher, try to find that cross crease feed. Couldn't connect, and Scary Joey will take it out for his team, currently up by 1 in the first period. Looped around all the way down the ice, and that's going to be icing with 3:27 to go here in the first.
Yeah, they're going to bring that one all the way back down in Scary Hours. They're very dangerous on these face-off plays. We saw them earlier from the EU guys. We'll see if we see them from the NA tonight.
Face-off won by Scary Hours again. Short side chance there from down low. Denied by Shekel. George will meet a check there. So try to recover that. He almost did. Claus has it now, though. He scurries that one along the boards as a wrist shot there just goes past the blocker's side of Bar Down Beauty. Sidfel on the recovery. In front, chance. That was Regs there picking up that one-time feed nicely. Hill intercepted and now starts to play back up the ice, but a mistimed pass by Fisher sends it all the way back down. One last rush here. Final 10 seconds real time to conclude the first period. Right side Fisher. Can he get there? No, it's offside, so we'll get at least a face-off here and maybe a shot off that face-off, and maybe a rush here for the Isles to get back into this one.
Great chemistry there between Regs and Fisher doing the give and go to get into the zone. Only 5 seconds left here. It should be a quick wrap-up.
Push win over to Hendry. Couldn't get that out to George, so Blur's just going to flip it in. So 1-0 again, your score line here, as the Scary Hours are up 1-0 over Isles Gaming team.
It's been a very, very good period here for Scary Hours. They're continuing the trend, Brandon.
Yeah, Scary Hours just kind of continuing to do what got them here in the first place, just playing stout defensively and limiting the opportunities that the Isles get themselves here. But nevertheless, I think some positive things to draw upon here. If you are IslesGT, you got a lot more opportunities there than you did in the first period of that last game. Obviously, unfortunate to give up that first goal, but I think that you can kind of feel that the momentum is flowing a little bit for IslesGT. If they can get a fast start here, maybe score in the first 5 minutes, we could be looking at a completely different game from here on out.
Jay Claus jumped there on the faceoff. Period number 2 underway. Scary Hours in control again. They've got this in the zone, but Claus able to steal that one away and carry it along out into their offensive end. They've got it now. That wrist shot comes in, bounced off of Hendry. A lot of these pucks hitting players and not getting through so far for the Isles Gaming team, as that one, good checking move there to poke check that one free was Blur. He's been all over the ice right now, as now they're starting to cycle in the offensive end for Scary Hours. K-cut, center point, Risto. Risto right side, driving in down low, finds Blur, and they're sending it around the net again. Now Sidfel from the left side. Scary Joey, now Blur in front. That was Sidfel with a shot. He couldn't get it all the way to the net. Didn't get a lot on it. Now a second chance there, and Sidfel was picked off cleanly. Isles playing really well in their defensive end right now after giving up that first goal.
Yeah, they're normal, just letting people work around the outside, and that's what Brandon said. That's what they let people do and try and attack here, and that's exactly what you're seeing.
Hendry from behind the net just takes a seat. Lost his bucket, as I thought he would have had a stick on that puck and might have had a generated opportunity there, as that was dangerous. In front, Sidfel, sliding out was Shekel. What a save!
What a save by Shekel, as he had to right stick over to make that save. There was no way he was getting that puck. Nick, that was textbook goaltending from him.
That is why he's MVP pretty much every season he plays. Stellar save there by Shekel to try to get his team to rally together here. Poke check by Claus. Couldn't find Hendry, though, on that receiving end of the poke check, and now Sitfel's got a lane. Good shot, better save by Shekel again. Trying to get that out of the zone. Fisher will do so, as that was trying to be twisted along the right side, but it'll find Blur instead. They'll come back down the other way. That pass was intended for maybe one of the wingers, but K-Cut will find it. He's going to try to dance off of Fisher. Fisher all over the ice. Now that's Hendry with a good steal. Hendry just chips it in. And a little bit higher of a forecheck right now for the Isles. Scary Joey in front. Sitful chance there from the right side.
That was a good effort there by Scary Hours as they come in. They're moving the puck around and trying to get more cuts into the middle as they notice the Islanders are just letting them have the outside.
As we apologize for any of the sound difficulties from the game feed. We should have corrected that, so bear with us there as that one came in a little bit wonky. Nevertheless, we will continue our coverage here. 7 minutes left here in the second period. Isles down by 1. Game number 2. Weird play there. That pass was found Claus's stick, but Claus couldn't wrangle that one in. Flipped in by Regs. Right side. Going to get it will be Fisher. Can he come out with it? He will. Fought along the corner now. 5 players back there. Blur's got it. Trying to clear it out of the zone. He's going to find it back to his stick and clear it out himself. That's flipped in. Low angle. Short angle, rather, as George will recover. Out now, Regs. They were poking at it for a while from that corner, but Blur able to come out with it. That pass was errantly placed by Fisher. They're just not connecting on passes right now, Tegan, and that might be what's doing them in, at least currently.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough here. You're seeing J Claus come in. He's getting run over. It's offside, so yeah, I agree. The puck's up the ice, even vertical, has just been very, very hard. So we'll see what we get here as the game moves on with 3 minutes to go. That
vertical style play, really what Isles love to do. That's really what their bread and butter is. So not being able to do that right now is a problem. 2-on-2 the other way. Blur and Sitful. Good move by Regs there. And that's the 1v1 chances showing there. Hendry off the Omaha gets a shot on, but bar down, able to stay with it the entire way. I was going to say, Tegan, that 1v1 experience in Regs is what makes him such a stellar defensive player.
Yeah, he's good anywhere, and that's what the 1v1 comes into play, is that he can be a good centerman, he can be a good winger, he can be a good defenseman. I've never seen him between the pipes, but, you know, I definitely know he's good everywhere else.
He'd probably be good there, too, as I don't understand that one. Bar down Beauty throws it out across the mouth of his goal. 3-on-1, 4-on-1 chance there. One-time shot, he scores. That's Blur, and I don't know what happened on that series of plays, but man, Scary Hours came up big there. A 4-on-1 chance, and it's 2-0 for Scary Hours.
You know, one thing that me and Brandon talk about a lot is the big save at one end and the big goal at the other end, but this time we get probably the most nerve-wracking play I've ever seen, Nick, where a goaltender in an esports tournament puts one through his own crease and it ends up in a goal at the other end. Phenomenal stuff.
I think I was telling Brandon, as this is 2-0 now into the third period, we look at the replay here. I was telling Brandon a while ago in a pregame call that I think I've eclipsed calling over 250 NHL esports games now, and I don't think I've ever seen that in the time that I've been playing and calling these games, where yet the goalie clears the puck across the mouth of his goal at the sharpest of angles possible. Brandon, that was something I haven't seen before.
Yeah, that was scary seconds for Scary Hours there. Bar down Beauty with the puck, and you usually see a goalie with the puck with a lot of space around them. There's a lot of time to kind of just break it out to a defenseman right there. That was very, very close, and then to turn around and get a goal on the other end. Absolutely huge there for Scary Hours, and we'll see if they can hold this 2-0 lead, or if Isles can respond here with their game and the series on the line this period.
As the Isles starting off with a lot of energy here. George way up on the play. A slap shot came in. That was a laser, but Bardown able to make the save. Now Hendry working from behind the net. He's going to fight off a couple of checks here. Reg's going to go give that one a chase. Couldn't find it. Hendry still getting up there. Slow to get up as he's injured now. Watch out for Hendry as he recovers from that injury. As you'll see Serenity over Adrenaline 5-4 in overtime in their game. Period number 3, game number 2. Scary Hours won game 1 as that one's forced in front. Just kneeling down in front. Smart play there by the right defender in K-Cut. What a smart 300 IQ play there, Tegan.
Those are two things I've never seen twice in a game, but you know, this is working, and it's working well here, Nick. So keep it up here, Scary Hours.
Sometimes do what got you to the dance, but sometimes you got to come up with something new. 3-on-2 forming here if they hurry. Now a 3-on-3. George with a last-second effort to scoop that one up. As Gren says, checkers in chess. Oh, man, that was just a crazy move and a crazy sequence of events, but if it's working, keep doing it. Sidful throws it in, cross ice, giving chase now Regs. Regs met at the corner, now Claus will scoop it up and send it out for Regs as he'll go cross ice back the other way, and that's picked off by K-Cut. K-Cut with a lot of speed through the neutral zone, spinning around, and that's Blur again, picking it up at the last possible moment and just shoveling it back on net. He's got his 10th of the season.
A little bit of a broken play, but a gorgeous one nonetheless. And what a spin coming in on that side. The puck ends up right on the stick of Blur, and he pops it in 5-0 on Shekel.
Scary Hours cooking on all cylinders right now. They've got the gas, the charcoal, propane, and propane accessories. They're ready, and they're firing now. Sidful going back on the attack. I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen this team going north on your screen in IslesGT do amazing things with late game heroics. What will we see in game number 2? And will we see a game number 3? Under 9:30 to go here in the third period.
Yeah, with my history, Nick, in esports, you know, formerly known Entourage, now obviously a New York Isles gaming team, they are known to be the comeback kids and to score late heroic goals.
They were fighting for that puck as it trickled into the defensive end for the Isles. In front, chance there. Wow, good save there by Shekel. George. Cross ice to Regs, his D partner. Stops up as it enters the zone. Throws it in down low. It's going to be Hendry trying to find his teammate in Fisher. He's got it back on his stick. Now Fisher's got it from the right side corner. Risto's going to fight him for it. Fisher's going to come out with it. He's got it. Lots of time. Oh, couldn't get the shot on net. Fisher again. Man, they're getting the chances. They just can't get these shots off. Back in for Scary Hours. And Shekel, he's just going to track that down. He's going to throw it out for Regs. Play's got to continue right now. They can't afford to take faceoffs in their end. He'll find Hendry to Fisher. Shot there, and bar down again. Just scoops it out of the sky.
Yeah, making it look easy, isn't he? Grabbing that very hard shot from Fisher. He scored on a slap shot from around the same area. Good eye from bar down.
Faceoff comes to bar down's left. And K-Cut's going to try to get it out of the zone. Good steal by J-Claws. Winding out of time here, though. They've got to move quickly. Blur. Just dancing around a couple of times. He's going to throw that out, though, and a delay of game call could change the tide of this game.
That's an interesting play there as he chucks that out in his own zone and probably just trying to get that down, and this is going to be tough. This is a hard hill to climb here for Scary Hours.
Claus jumps early. That slap shot it all the way out. Falls to Shekel's skates. He'll scoop it up and pass it out. Things are going to get really interesting here with the final 100 seconds of game number 2. The Isles down by 3 on the power play here, and they're in the zone. Around the net, now behind it. Fisher trying to pick it up. There's George. Hendry's there from the left point. Slap shot in, rebound chance. Can't get to a stick of the Isles. Diving out was Hendry. He couldn't recover it. Sidful's going to stop short. Drive in deep. Getting it in down low. Smartest thing they can do right now. As the fight is on all the way 200 feet, they got to come back the other way. Hendry will pick it up on the go. Center point, high slot area, rings one, and what a laser there by Hendry. The heat seeker proves true, and a power play goal makes this 3-1.
Oh, I've seen that heat seeker a lot, and does it ever work? That's one of the best ones, and when you need one, why not go to Hendry? He's a great guy for an interview. He's a better guy to score a clutch goal, and he gets one there late in the third.
41.9 seconds here to go. 2 goals. A real-time 40 seconds. like we've said, we've seen crazy things happen with this club. What can we see here? Approaching a half minute. Reg's just going to speed up the ice. Up to Fisher now, who's also got speed. Stop and go. Oh, he tried to find Regs on the right side, but Regs didn't stay home. They've got to get it back in the zone now. Blur's going to send it around behind his own net, and out now Sitful. The pressure's on here. As Regs has it, final 12 seconds. Another speed boost through neutral ice. Now Hendry. Oh, and that's going to be a good poke check to keep it out of the zone, and that's going to do it. 5 seconds here. George up the right side, and Scary Hours, as we get an offsides here, will take game number 2. And Tegan, not what we expected here, is wow, leveled there from the delayed penalty. K-Cut's gonna go sit, but it's all a formality at this point. Scary Hours sweeps IslesGT, goes 6-0 in 6 weeks here in the Caps Gaming Showcase, and wins this series 2-0.
Wow, what a game. And this is kind of not what we expected coming into this one, but Scary Hours, did they ever put on a fantastic showing? Late penalties, they don't matter. And what goaltending by Bar Down Beauty, Nick.
Goaltending aplenty there for sure. And I mean, that's really the standout here. Bar Down must have been 8, 9, 10 saves across both these games here, where he really made a standout. And I think that was the difference maker for this game tonight. And that's what it comes down to, Tegan. I tell you, the goaltending, that's really what I said in that interview with Hendry. It makes a difference. And when you get the right ones in the right time in the right space, man, big things can happen. And even the crazy sequences that we saw still led to be fortuitous for Scary Hours as they go 6-0 and they move their way up the ladder in the playoffs, getting really close here. You want to keep getting those wins.
They are getting super tight, and that was a great game, Brandon. What did you think about what you saw from both sides?
I think for Scary Hours, a lot of it just kind of continuing what got them here in the first place. You heard Nick kind of allude to it earlier saying, well, you do what has gotten you here. Sometimes you have to switch it up. Not so much for Scary Hours here in this game. Just continuing to dominate on the defensive end and not allowing teams to set up on that breakout. We talked about Regs being such a key for this IslesGT team, and you didn't call his name at all really too much. He had some opportunities with the puck, but nothing that could create a clear-cut scoring opportunity. And we said how he's kind of the quarterback. Well, if you cover enough wide receivers on a quarterback in football, then you're going to have to throw a few incompletions and maybe take a sack or two. Hockey, no different on the breakout. If you're able to cover the wingers in the center and not give that breakout option, you're going to create turnovers and you're not going to allow that opposing offense to get into the zone and set up. And we know how good IslesGT is when they can get those opportunity in the zones. Scary Hours doing a nice job of shutting that down, not allowing it to happen, and they're 6-0 now because of it, and might be a potential favorite now in this tournament, making a statement here in the nice featured matchup.
Yeah, and they were absolutely fantastic early in the game. And you said coming out early when you have two teams that are so good going head-to-head like this, you have to come out early and you have to score often.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because you have to come out early and score often, and in both of those games, Scary Hours able to get the first goal, and after that, they were really just able to play their game. When you play such a solid defensive game like that, it makes it so hard as a team to be able to come from behind. So really, for Isles, even though they do have that scoring talent, we know they'll be back. We know that they will be able to have better performances in the future. And it's not that they just played a bad game or series. It just really goes to show you how truly good that the Scary Hours team is. And depending on how things shake out with Olympia, they could be the lone undefeated team remaining on our side of the bracket. Or if Olympia wins, they could be playing them next week, our former champion from Season 2. So still a lot to look forward to for Scary Hours. But honestly, might be a championship favorite now here, Tegan. They have looked solid through the first 6 weeks of the season.
There just might be. I'll have to get Nick's opinion on that one. Well, Nick, what do you think? Do you think that this Scary Hours team is definitely a competitor to be reckoning with?
I mean, absolutely. I think that goes without saying. They were an odds-on favorite coming into this tournament, and I think they've really proven their worth as they sit like... It's a weird thing when you look at Scary Hours because of the name change, because of this whole roster mania thing. things change, but this team, the core, has really stayed together for quite a number of seasons. And I've said this from the beginning as an advocate for esports, the teams that do really well stay together. And that's proven. You look at the teams that have done well for long, and it's the EU model. I mean, the NA needs to reflect more of that, and we see the teams that do that have more success. I think that's a mainstay for what we need to see in NHL esports, and the teams that are doing that are doing really well. And you hear a lot of talk and a lot of chatter of like, oh, it's always the same teams at the top. But those teams, if you look down the roster, many of those players have stayed together this entire time. What does that tell you? It tells you that chemistry really does build. And I think it's also a point here, Tegan, that the first goal really does make a difference. I'd love to get some stats here on first goal wins. If you score first, what's your percentage of likelihood of winning? That's an advanced stat I'd love to have, because I think that does, in our broadcast even here, have shown the colors of the cards. And that's telling us that I think the first goal will dictate if you walk out with the win, as barring that you don't do anything silly.
Right, and Brandon says it best. You know, he dissects that to a T. He's very good at that, and you're exactly right. The first goal is just so huge because there's not very many goals scored in these high-skilled esports games, Nick. So you know that very first goal is very huge, and I see it here on the broadcast where we see that first goal going in and that team walking away carrying the cup at the end.
Yeah, we really do. And it's going to get really interesting once we get into playoffs, as the best of threes turn into best of fives. Those best of fives get a little bit longer. The games get a little bit more grueling. You start learning the tendencies, and you start playing the teams you've already played before, which you don't get in the Swiss format through the regular season. So as we work through that, I think things are going to get a little bit more tight-lipped when it comes to goals scored. Very rarely will we see those shootouts. I think you'll see more of that as we move into the playoffs. But hey, we got 2 more weeks of regular season here, so we're not even done yet.
That's right. There's lots more, and there's lots of fluctuation still to come. So it'll be interesting to see who gets in and who gets out.
Stick right here, twitch.tv/capitals, and make sure you're following us all over the internet at F5 Penguin, at XKingLime, at bMaJuH, as we'll bring you the playoff coverage the only way we know how. But that's going to do it right now, putting a bow on week number 6. Scary Hours taking 2-0 versus IslesGT and going 6-0 on the season. A great performance for them through this tournament so far, and a heck of a job from everybody on there, including bMaJuH, who's just probably the all-star of the game, as he walks away with just a stellar performance.
Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. He played great saves, and we'll see what he can do further in the tournament, Nick.
Yeah, that's right. 2 more weeks to go here with the Caps Gaming Showcase presented to you by Leidos. So we'll be here every step of the way. 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern time every single Sunday. A little bit different come Super Bowl Sunday. We'll talk more about that when we get to that point. But nevertheless, we'll be here same bat time, same bat channel, twitch.tv/F5 Penguin. So on behalf of the entire staff here, our partners at Leidos, our partners at Leaguegaming, and of course everybody over at Caps Gaming, my name is Nick DeMeo, and on behalf of Tegan Blair and Brandon Bigsby, we wish you a safe, happy, and healthy finishing of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Take care, everybody, and goodbye for now.